Welcome to the world of Diffmatic. Let me introduce myself. I am Julia, the sales manager of Diffmatic. For those who do not know us yet, we are a leading company in the production and marketing of automated entrance solutions. With over 30 years of experience, we stand out quality and innovation of our products, all strictly made in Italy. We have suitable solutions for every type of need, and with these video tutorials, we will take you on a journey to discover all our products that have been designed and created to make your life easier and safer. Additionally, for our clients, we offer completely and absolutely free technical and commercial support. Are you truly ready for an adventure in the world of Diffmatic? Let's go!
Today, we will talk about swing gate automation in this video. What are swing gate automation systems, which are always electromechanical or hydraulic systems that allow your swing gate to open and close automatically and efficiently?
Swing gates can open both outward and inward. Which automation systems should you choose for your needs? Swing gates.
You need to consider the weight and dimensions of the gate leaf, the intended use of this automation, and the space and dimensions of the pillars. We also remind you that it is indeed very important to consult a professional in the field both for installation and for advice on what to install. In this regard, today our technician Pierluigi will present the entire range of our swing gate automation systems.
Hello, I am Pierluigi, the technician from Diffmatic. Today, we are going to present our range of linear motors for swing gates, articulated and underground. Our linear motors are BH, BT, WH, PH, and PH1. Let's go through them. The BH is a linear motor screw carriage available in 24V or 230V versions. With this motor, you can generally move a gate up to 3 meters and 2.8 meters. In the longer version 500, in the 400 version with a Honda up to 2.5 meters and up to 2 meters for the Corsa 300 version. The BG, on the other hand, is also a linear motor, but with a piston rod. This motor has a vertical motor relative to the piston itself, a direct release with a triangular key, and comes in two versions, 400 and 500. We can use this motor to move and automate gates from 2.5 meters to a maximum of 3.5 meters, obviously in both 24 volts and 230 volts versions. The VH is a linear motor with a double stroke measurement of approximately 400 and 500. The usable leaf sizes are the same as before, February 5th and March 5th meters, with a dual version of 24 and 230. PH1 is hydraulic range motor, two versions, 200 and 7300 and 90 stroke 100 and 7300 and 90 stroke. The extremely important thing to remember about the PH is that there is a dual hydraulic version, which has a reversible or irreversible motor, including different versions. The PM1 is a quiet device in three sizes, 300, 600, and 400, to motorize gates from 1.80 meters to 3.5 meters. Maximum 3.5 M in. Based on each need, a motor will surely suit your requirement. Now let's move on to the articulated one. We have two versions, an Artilix Plus motor supporting up to 2.5 meters, and our Artilix Hold supporting up to 3.5 meters. What is the difference between these two motors? One motor is more robust, reverse operation at 230 volts, and has a 6 millimeters safety key release mechanism. The other motor comes in two versions, 230 and 24 volts, for leaves up to 2.5 meters. It is recommended not to exceed 200 kilograms per leaf. Speaking of the underground motor, we have the Chromo, which also comes in two versions, 24 volts and 230 volts. This motor is supplied with our cases. Our cases can be either in molded plastic, stainless steel for more corrosive environments, or galvanized iron for the most classic installations. The version is always available in 2V, 24V, and 230V. The gate leaf can reach a maximum of 3 meters and a maximum weight of 300 kilograms. Now, let's briefly touch on the technical aspects of choosing our swing gate. We have some fundamental parameters to evaluate. The weight of the gate leaf. Whether the gate leaf is paneled or open, because we cannot underestimate the sail effect. And 3, the hinge of the gate and the size of the pillar, because sometimes we will be constrained in the choice of the piston or the articulated arm that we will have to deal with. As you can see here, there is a drawing of a standard pillar. Our measurements A and B cannot be underestimated because the sum of A and B will give us the useful stroke of the piston to achieve our 90 degrees. So even if we have a gate that does not have a particularly large leaf, but we have a particularly high B in this scenario, it is important to note that we need to consider the possibility of installing an oversized piston in order to effectively address the issue at hand. Here, at this very moment, the articulated arm can indeed come to our rescue because it can effectively and efficiently address these issues. Whether the hinge is located farther away from our pillar line, or if the hinge is situated on the internal pillar line, thus ultimately saving us from constructing brackets that could be very particular and complex. Julia, do we have any specific or particular questions from our clients today?
So Pierluigi, today we have our customer Marco asking us who certifies the automatic gate today.
The certification of the automatic gate is given by the final installer. Our product is certified UNI and ISO 9001. This covers both the electronic and mechanical parts. The safety certification of the installation itself and the product is issued by the qualified electrician or installer. Very well, indeed, perfect.
Alberto asks us why the automatic gate opens, but does not close, and he is curious about the reason behind this issue.
This is an inconvenience we often encounter when there's a problem generally with the photocells on a safety device. In the connections of the control units, we know that additional safety features can be enabled to allow the gate to open and protect us safely and securely. So if we have a potentially faulty photocell, we will potentially find ourselves in a situation where the gate will open, but then identify a safety issue during closing and therefore remain open. Check the photocells, their proper cleaning, or the connection on the central device.
Another customer often asks us why the gate opens and closes automatically by itself. Frequently,
this situation can occur when we have radio interference, which is a common issue. What does this mean? It means that when we were programming our remote controls into the control unit, there was very likely some interference or surrounding radio signal that got into the control unit during the programming process, causing potential issues. When this signal passes, the control unit does not distinguish it from its ordinary command signal, resulting in a random maneuver. The solution can be very practical and very quick by simply resetting the radio memory and reprogramming only our 3 commands.
instead, Lorenzo asks why the gate only opens from close by, perhaps?
This is always typically related to radio interference or the range capacity of the remote control or the antenna itself, usually. If we have low range, we can solve the problem by slightly adding an external antenna or amplifying the existing one. If we do not resolve the issue in any of the scenarios, in the event that there have been updates in the surrounding area, radio signals, or data transmission, which can still potentially cause interference, we have the option available to introduce an external, shielded receiver so that we will have our radio channel completely free from interference and a significantly greater capacitive range for the remote control. See the standard composition of a BH400 kit. Detailed, step-by-step mechanical assembly instructions for the BH400 kit. The 2 powerful 400 motors, each operating at a robust 230 volts, are designed to provide exceptional performance and reliability in various applications. The related capacitors, including their specifications and functions, as well as the mechanical mounting brackets and their installation procedures. At this moment, we are going to carefully open up the accessory box to see what it contains. Each item will be inspected. Our warning sign, our flashing light with face, that serves as a clear and visible indicator of potential danger. Our pair of FVG 180 photocells, which are highly efficient and reliable, ensuring optimal performance in various applications. Our highly reliable and advanced Equo plus 433 MHz non-copyable rolling code remote control. We carefully and safely open the central box. Our advanced and highly efficient EKS 230M2 control unit. The EKS 230M2 control unit is an advanced and highly efficient device designed for optimal performance in various applications. Hello. Let's just make two brief notes regarding the mechanical installation of our linear pistons. A fundamental concept is the important and critical mounting of the piston, and the choice of the piston and its length. Today we will talk about the PM1 motor, BG motor, and its features. DH, VH, and PH1, EG, including. They all follow the same law and the same. Calculation mounting. Let's just simply imagine our standard situation, pillar, gate hinge, and the bracket to position carefully. It is very important to compute these two, A and B measurements, including additional gate pivot projection measurement. A, gate pivot projection measurement B. Our A and B measurements, therefore, thus identified. Adding them tells us how much stroke our piston actually has in total. Will be used in order to achieve the 90 degrees precisely of opening. Therefore, the choice of the motor stroke is very important, constrained by the specific measurements of the pillar that we will find exactly. Give you a practical example. If we have approximately a B of roughly about 20 centimeters, and an A of about 20 centimeters, the piston that we will definitely use must have a stroke. At least 400 additional units, otherwise it will not be able to complete the necessary and important task. 90. When we have specific particular situations or circumstances in which where the gate hinge is indeed definitely particularly far or is particularly close, this measurement constrains us so that it means that it will be useless to buy a stroke. 600 because we have a particularly long leaf end. Use A and B. 15 centimeters, the stroke will always be. So we should always find the right balance between, in our decisions and actions, the size of the leaf and the capacity of stroke of the motor that we could potentially use on our project. Pillar.
Let's analyze our EKS 230M2. This control is used for the control of gates, two-leaf swing gates, or for the management of. A double sliding gate, we have an entrance. Two switches, two barriers. Badge. Let's start analyzing connections 220 volts input on. Contact 1 to 2, on contact 3 to 4 we have and. The possibility of connecting the flashing light on the contact. 3-5 possibility connecting lights. Courtesy. The courtesy lights last for of 180 seconds. Receives the start contact. Let's then look at the connection of the motor. One with the connectors 6 to 7 and also that are prepared for the connection of the motor phases. One on which we will apply the capacitor. In parallel, connector number 8 on which it will just simply go. Connected the common of motor 1, generally, in general. The color of the common connection is or. Red or blue. Let's see the connection for motor 2. Repeats 1 first. 2 terminals are for the phases with the cap third terminal is for common alone. Let's move to our low voltage terminal block, which we have. As we were saying, the connection of the limit switch for motor 2 with common limit, opening closing switch. Then we have the connection of our safety devices, so we can connect common opening photocell to contact 15 to 17, or we could connect the photocell of closure contact 16, 17, 17, common contacts. Then we have the connection of the limit switch of the Motor 1 common limit switch. Closing opening limit. Let's proceed with the other additional safety measure, that is stop contact of. Stop used must be bridged. Then we have the pedestrian entrance on 22, obviously, of course. NO contact 23 is a contact of. Common 24 start input. All command inputs start and. Pedestrian, as we can clearly see if we don't have any indeed. Device, they left them open. Since they are normally open contacts, while all. The safety devices and limit switch F. And used contacts must be bridged contacts. And C. Let's take a look above corresponding LEDs. Find LEDs FCC2. FCI2 correspond to the limit switch motor. 2 must always be on, bridged, or otherwise. Connected to the device, a barrier, or whether it is the sliding motor always on. They turn off when engaged. Let's proceed the same way to connect the photocell. The LED is permanently on. It interrupts between the two photocells. The beam is no longer present, cut. Obstacle LED off. Let's move on to FCC and FCA. Said motor 2 same. Behavior, so they are permanently on, they are only turned off. They are linked to the motor to the control unit. To the limit switch when engaged will be off. Correspond. These two LEDs have a function that in the event that the stop is interrupted, these two LEDs turn off when off. Automation in stop state, and does not offer electronic movement. Last two LEDs match pedestrian. At the start, these, unlike the others, are always off and turn on only when they receive the control impulse. Now let's look at the 3 power potentiometers, which are essential components. Power slow and T-pause, what does it mean? Power manages force during the run. The power slow controls the force during the slowdown phase, and thus the T-pause manage the pause time in a range of about. Work from 5 to 120 seconds. If enabled by the following options, below we have the following. Our optional dip switches, dip when enables. The automatic closure. Disabled in on enabled, which definitely means that if the gate is currently opening and not in the process of, we have enabled the automatic closure. It will not close if. Does not receive a pulse signal, dip switch number 2. Instead used for condominium management or step-by-step and off, we will have this logic of operation 1 opens, 1 stops, 1. Impulse closes, while with the dip switch mechanism activated on, the automation will always complete the maneuver to the end. It means that while it is actually opening, if we currently press the start pulse from the remote control, will definitely continue to open, while if the automation is closing and then slightly receives a slight start impulse, and the maneuver will be reversed and reopen. The name means it is used in case. For condominium dip switch number 3, allows instead to fundamentally enter the memory. Radio from the outside 3 commands. Dip switch 4 enables the water hammer effect. Water hammer is directly connected to the electric lock. The electric lock will have the possibility to be disengaged more easily because, in fact, leaf 1 with dip 4 activated in. Starting phase closes once earlier. To start opening, electric lock must be connected. On terminal 28 to 29, give an impulse. Each time the control unit receives the command and for the opening of 3 seconds, the dip. Switch number 5, on the other hand, acts the options regarding contact safety and protocols. 15 to 17, edge or opening photocell in. Moment when we have dip 5 in. Off the intervention of the safety will most definitely, undoubtedly cause a reverse maneuver to carefully clear the obstacle and safely at the moment we remove the obstacle. Photocells will continue opening with dip 5. Inani will simply just have to definitely stop. Of the automation without inversion dip switch 6. Manages the flashing light with the 6 inches. Off we will have a steady light during the movement. Of the automation with the 6 in on instead. Flashing light follows this logic. During opening, there will be a slow flashing light. In case we have recently set the automatic closure, pause time will be indicated by a light. Fixed, the flashing light will be rapid during the phase. For closing, dip switch 7 sets. The slowdown obviously off, the slowdown excluded. And on the slowdown is included, we will then see how to set during the process. Programming. Dip switch 8 provides the possibility. To the control unit hydraulic motors. Electromechanical, we manage electromechanical motors, so we have ability to manage slowdown through the dip 7 and the forces via the trimmer. Power and power slow when we go to. Set dip 8, then hydraulic setting we will appropriately. Take into account that these things will be managed from the motor, which can include various effects such as slowdown and forces, now indeed. Let's briefly see how to quickly and easily set up our remote control. Here we have our radio prog button, which is very useful to control, which, when pressed once, will set for. The total opening, pressed twice, will slightly set for. Instead, the pedestrian opening, let's look at the operation. Press the once, steady light, remote control received. After 6 seconds, it will exit programming, and at this point, the button we have selected will be working for the full opening. I'll show you. Also how to set pedestrian mode, press once. I release, press twice, flashing light, pedestrian setting. Now let's practically see how to proceed with a typical programming, prog time 2 seconds, such as the LED remains on to show we are in. Programming phase, press gate 1, starts. Leaf 1, press gate 2, the leaf starts. 2, where I just want 1 to slow down a little. I press gate 1 and we start the slowdown, we will slow down. Also the 2, we will definitely reach the limit switch and we will stop. The leaf 1, we will definitely stop the leaf 2. Indeed, of course, let's remember to leave it in position for a few seconds now, we will restart. With the 2 in closing, we will restart with the in the final moments. 1 in closing, where we want it to happen, at the end of the day, ultimately, in the end. Slow down during closing, we will start leaf. 2, same thing happens, leaf 1 is gradually slowing down, and eventually, we arrive at our destination. In position, a few seconds, we stop for a moment, we stop. The one we see the LED is turned off just now, programming successfully completed for practicality after we have completely associated full opening and pedestrians show you this practice that could be very useful if we have the control unit in. A not very convenient position, we enter programming. With button 1, I control motor 1. With button 2, I control motor. 2 works only during the phase of programming, slow down 1, slow down 2, and then stop step by step. The number 1, please stop the number 2, now close 2 and close more. 1, gradually slow down 2, gradually slow down 1, come to a complete stop, and then 2, come to a complete stop. 1, programming completed. Obviously, this is only possible if you consider all the factors. After associating the specific channel 1 with the opening, complete channel 2 pedestrian opening.